Understanding slavery in the North in a contemporary setting will help us understand some of the challenges that we've seen or witnessed in the 21st century. Challenges with race relations, challenges with police violence, challenges with understanding why we are where we are today. One of the things that I always tell my students is that we as African Americans have not been free as long as we've been enslaved. Slavery was a foundation that sort of gave us that base of racial segregation, separation, and inequality that grew out of slavery and then came in the post-slavery era through Jim Crow legislation.
My mother, Constance Baker Motley, was the first Black American female federal judge in the United States. She was appointed by Lyndon Johnson in 1966 and served on the bench until her death in 2005. Before that, she was a civil rights lawyer. I was about 11 during the March on Washington, and my mother, because she had been such a prominent figure in the civil rights movement, had tickets to be on the dais. It was terrific. It was great to see and be with Dr. King, who was one of my mother's clients often, both personally. She got him out of jail, I think, more than once, and I think got him out of political hot water when she was able to get black students reinstated into high school when they had been expelled for demonstrating.
My grandmother came from Virginia. She was very, very fair. She could have been mistaken for white. Heading back to Pittsburgh, we were going through West Virginia or Maryland, and we stopped to get a bite to eat at a roadside cafe or diner. I remember Grandma had me by the hand, and she said, and we got to the door, and the lady at the door says, "Ma'am, you can come in, but your help has to go around the back." And, at that point, at 4 or 5, I understood that there was something different here.
In my segregated school system in North Carolina, we learned a lot about slavery in the South. We did not learn about slavery in the North. I wanted to go to some of the schools in the North because I thought they were better than the schools in the South. We saw it as a place of freedom. Just let me get to New York. I want to buy my own home. I want to excel. After getting a teaching position and seeing some of the hatred come out, it was very interesting. I think they tried to keep it subtle, but because I was so sensitive to situations with race from the South, I picked up on it right away.
The racism that basically allowed slavery to define blacks as something other than human beings was something that was alive and well in the North in many places.
I believe the lack of knowledge of slavery in the North has left us ignorant. And I do think that the North has to own up to what has taken place.
We have to all own this story, particularly if we're going to move forward regarding the legacy of slavery and the challenges we find in contemporary America.
We consistently have had this way of walking around conversations about race, and then when people tell you slavery is so long ago, that's just like, that's unacceptable. And I think that people who might not have the same kind of personal connection to enslavement, they still do too. Because there's no way you have a British Empire or you have the United States of America with any kind of viable economy without the exploitation of black bodies, black families, black children. So it's a part of all of our lives, and not understanding it, at this point in time, ignorance is a choice